We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. A direct and non-stop flight between the Philippines and Belgium may soon be underway following the meeting of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and Brussels Airport CEO Arnaud Feist. On the sidelines of the commemorative summit between ASEAN and the European Union in Brussels, the President met with the airport officials who proposed mounting up a direct flight to the Philippines. Feist said the proposed flight is a win-win situation for both countries to be connected, as he showed great interest in gaining a foothold in the country. Marcos agreed that having a direct flight to Brussels will also serve as an opportunity for Filipinos who want to explore what Belgium and the rest of the Western Europe have to offer. It will also benefit foreign travelers, as all capitals in the Southeast Asia are within a few hours from Manila. The President is in Brussels from December 12 to 14. He is presenting the government goals in terms of agriculture, trade, and maritime ties. Meanwhile, to address deficiencies in the Philippine seafarers' education, training, and certification system, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. issued a directive to create an advisory board. Marcos issued the directive during a meeting with International Maritime Employers Council, or IMEC, and several business executives and leaders of European shipping companies and ship owners associations in Brussels. Marcos said the creation of an advisory board would ensure that the country will meet the standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping convention, particularly for Filipino seafarers who are deployed on EU vessels. He said the government aims to boost the Philippine seafaring industry by strengthening the relationships between private and public sectors. Migrant Workers Secretary Susan Toots Oples said her department can meet on a regular basis with the Maritime Industry Authority, or MARINA, as well as the Commission on Higher Education and other relevant institutions to ensure that the country's training initiatives and accreditation scheme for seafarers would pass the EU standards. Marino Party List Representative Sandro Gonzales meanwhile agreed on the creation of an advisory board, noting that about 50,000 Filipino seafarers working in European vessels are facing the risk of losing their jobs due to the deficiencies. The European Commission's Maritime Safety Agency, or ANSA, earlier flagged the Philippines for deficiencies in local seafarers' education, training, and certification. The Philippines has pledged $200,000 or about 11.1 million pesos for the United Nations Central Emergency Response Fund, or CERF, in 2023. The event, led by the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, aimed to ensure that CERF is well funded to provide time-critical, life-saving humanitarian assistance. Permanent Representative to the United Nations Antonio Lagdameo said the Philippines' pledge is an indication of the country's commitment to humanitarian action and responsible membership in the community of nations. He encouraged other developing countries to support the UN and contribute to CERF. As of November, CERF allocated more than $700 million to support millions of people in need of urgent assistance in about 40 countries. In the Philippines, CERF allocated $12 million to provide life-saving humanitarian assistance to communities affected by Super Typhoon Odette in December 2021. In other news, the Philippine News Agency and Agencia Nacional Stampa Asociata, or ANSA, signed a news exchange deal, making this the government's newswire's latest tie-up with foreign agencies. News and Information Bureau Director Raymond Robert Burgos, PNA Executive Editor Demetrio Pisco Jr., and ANSA Chief Executive Officer and General Manager Stefano De Alessandri signed the deal in a virtual ceremony on Tuesday. NIB Assistant Director Lian Patugalan, PNA Deputy Executive Editor Luis Morente, and Italian Ambassador to the Philippines Marco Clemente witnessed the ceremony. The deal between PNA and ANSA will allow the sharing of news articles, photos and videos between the two agencies. Burgos said this deal strengthens PNA's links with other countries and brings the Philippines closer to Filipinos based abroad. Pisco hoped the signing would also provide more information about the Philippines and entice Italian companies to invest and do business in the country. For his part, De Alessandri said the deal would lead to a broader cooperation with the Philippines and help keep about 200,000 OFWs living and working in Italy informed about the latest happenings in the country. And that is the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Newsroom. For more news content, visit our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We are also shown on the social media pages of the Office of the Press Secretary and on Radio Pilipinas RP1. Stay tuned for more news updates. I am William Theo. We tell stories that inspire change.